All right, so good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this morning for our Library Tools for Your Business webinar. Really excited to have two representatives from the Springfield-Greene County Library District on the call with us today to help us put this program on. Katie Pattison and Renee Brummett are both with us, and Katie's going to lead us through our discussion today. We will take questions really throughout the program, so go ahead and throw those in the chat as you think of something as Katie is sharing the information with us. Type those in there, and then as we kind of get towards the end and they're appropriate, I'll throw those out to you, Katie, and you and Renee can try to field those. So just a real quick reminder, if you're not familiar, first, my name is Crystal Irons, and I'm with the Missouri Small Business Development Center here at Missouri State University. Our office is part of a statewide and nationwide network here to support business owners really at every stage of their business, from startup, expansion, into exiting and what succession might look like for your business. We provide one-on-one consulting to business owners, potential entrepreneurs at no additional fee, as we are funded by a grant from the U.S. Small Business Administration. We provide a variety of training seminars, much like this one. Many times we like to have those in person, but right now, due to the current situation, we're doing all of them remotely via webinar. So keep an eye out on our training calendar for additional training seminars that may be of interest and help you in your business. We do a lot of things around overall business planning and strategy. At our center at Missouri State University, we work really closely with our other departments and students on campus to provide some course projects to business owners. So we do things like feasibility studies each semester, management assessments. We do some technical writing projects as well as marketing projects. So if you ever find yourself having a need for really a more in-depth type of research project, something like that, don't ever hesitate to contact me or our office. Happy to kind of put you on a list, and always love to have a long list of people and businesses that need support for different projects. And then of course during this during the COVID-19 pandemic, we are definitely here to support businesses through this disaster recovery efforts that everyone is kind of undergoing right now. So offering a lot of different types of support in that way. As I mentioned, we're part of a statewide and nationwide network. So here in Missouri, we partner with University of Missouri Extension to have offices all over the state of Missouri. Our specific center at Missouri State serves the region that you see in blue, so the Southwest region. We have 3 offices throughout the Southwest region to provide assistance. One at the E-Factory, where we serve as part of the E-Factory's business support programs, offering our consulting and training services with the E-Factory team as well. And of course, that's in Springfield, on part of the Missouri State University campus. We also partner with University of Missouri Extension down in Taney County to have an office down there to really be localized for Taney, Stone, Berry, Christian County. And then we also have a satellite center in West Plains on our Missouri State University campus there. And as I mentioned, we are doing a lot of different type of consulting virtually, of course, right now. So always feel free to schedule an appointment online. You can reach us on our website, sbdc.missourystate.edu. We do have a lot of different resources on our website as well. And then, of course, many different upcoming training events that you can find on our calendar. So with that, I would love to throw it over to Katie. And again, Katie, thank you guys so much for working with us to offer this program. We are excited to hear what you're going to share with us today. So I will stop sharing my screen, and you can go ahead and share yours. Okay. And take it away.
Thanks, Crystal. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Okay. So welcome, everyone. When we were planning this class, the world was a slightly different place. So we had kind of intended for it to be a very hands-on class where you could really practice with some of the tools we're going to show you today. So feel free to grab your phone, pull up a browser on your computer so you can kind of play along with these resources with your own information and your own needs. We're going to do this in kind of two parts. The first part is I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the library and some of our facilities and services that we offer. And then the second part will take kind of a deep dive into some of our resources that we offer for businesses specifically, and some that are both for business and personal use. So I'm Katie Pattison. I'm manager of the Schweitzer-Brentwood branch of the Springfield-Greene County Library. And we also have Renee Brummett on the call with us today. She is our electronic resources librarian, and we are two of the members of what we call our embedded business library team. So we help coordinate business services for the library. Do feel free to jump in and ask questions, like Crystal said. Go ahead and talk about the library. So the Springfield-Greene County Library District has 10 branches. We have 5 here in the city of Springfield and 5 out in other parts of the county. 5 of our locations have drive-up service, which is very handy right now. Our locations with drive-up service opened just over 2 weeks ago, and all but 2 of our branches opened their doors Tuesday of this week for in-person services. So with a few limitations, social distancing, computer time limits, and time limits in the branch, capacity limits as mandated by the city order, but you can come in a library now and use library services. So we're excited about that. If you're not familiar with how the libraries here in Greene County are supported, it's primarily by property tax. So I like to think of it sometimes as a service you've already paid for, so you might as well take advantage of some of these services we're offering. And I guarantee that if you do, you will probably save some money. Library cards are free to all Greene County residents. If you live outside of Greene County, it's $80 per year for your whole household. That's just about what the average taxpayer in Greene County pays for the library. And right now, we are offering online library card registration on a temporary basis. So if you don't have a library card, you can hop on to this website and go ahead and sign up for one right now. And that will allow you to use these resources we're going to show you today, along with the rest of our online resources. So I'll just show you what that looks like really quick. Pop this over here. This is our online catalog where you can search for materials, but right over here in the left side, you see this option to get a library card. If you click on that and fill out that form, then you'll be issued a number immediately, and you can go ahead and start using that to access these resources that we're talking about today. All right. So borrowing, this is probably the service that everyone is most familiar with the library. The Springfield-Greene County Library has over 470,000 individual items that you can check out, which is a little mind-blowing. Those are books, DVDs, audiobooks, and a lot of other things. You can also get access to 20,000 downloadable and streaming books, audiobooks, magazines, and TV shows, and we will dig into that today and see what those look like. You can also access millions of other titles through a library consortium called Mobius and Interlibrary Loan Services. Now, Mobius, for the moment, is shut down. We are actually among the first libraries in the state to reopen, so a lot of libraries that are part of Mobius are not yet open and lending books, but that will be back up at some point soon, and then you can get just about any item you want at that point. So keep that in mind. We also lend mobile hotspots. So if internet access is an issue, maybe you're in a rural area and you need to borrow a mobile hotspot, we have that option available. And I understand from our IT team that they're working on a grant to get even more of those to be able to have them available for library patrons. Programs, events, and classes are another thing that we do that looks very different right now as well. We are not holding in-person programs through August 31st, and I think we will remain a little bit virtual in the fall too. But we partner with SCORE of Southwest Missouri to offer workshops. So we're in talks with them right now about what that might look like this summer, looking at virtual workshops. SCORE National is also not doing in-person workshops right now, but I think we'll have some virtual options coming soon. We are about to embark on a new program series, which was going to be an in-person series and hopefully will be soon, which is called Made Here, where we will partner with businesses and manufacturers in the area to really show some of the cool stuff that is happening right here in Southwest Missouri. So our first partner with that is going to be Mother's Brewing. If you've never taken a tour of their brewery, it's very cool. Even if you're not a fan of beer, I think I walked in not being a fan of beer and walked out thinking beer is pretty cool. So, and now I drink more beer than I did. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but that will hopefully be happening in the fall on a virtual basis too. So author visits, you all may have heard we had David Sedaris coming. That was also something that was postponed because of the COVID-19 crisis, but our hope is and our plan is right now that he will be back in September. So that's pretty exciting. And I mentioned our programs were canceled through the 31st, but if you're not signed up for the library's newsletter, do sign up for that. We have topic-specific newsletters you can sign up for, so you can keep track of all of the very cool virtual things that are happening this summer and into the fall. So other useful library services for your business. We offer free Wi-Fi. Right now, our Wi-Fi at most of our branches is 24 hours and available in the parking lot. So if you are in a situation where you need Wi-Fi and you don't want to, go into a busy place, you are welcome to do that from our parking lot or come inside our buildings and use it. We also have public computers. They're looking a little different than they did a few months ago, but they're still here and available. Currently a 30-minute time limit, but we'll continue to add services back through the summer and fall. You can print at the library and it's pretty cheap, 10 cents a page for black and white and 50 cents a page for color. I think 50 cents a page for color might be the cheapest you can get around here based on my own research. Mobile printing. Love mobile printing. You can actually go to our mobile printing site, which is the library.org/mobile printing, send your print job to any of our branches, and right now you can even pick it up through the drive-through. So that is super handy. We do have 3D printing services if you have need of that. That is at the Midtown Carnegie branch. Most of our branches have copy machines and fax machines in the branch. And then meeting and study spaces have been a really important part about what we do and a really important service that businesses take advantage of. Right now, those meeting spaces are closed through the 31st of August. But we hope to have those back open as soon as possible. And you can book them right online. So that is very handy. If you've got to meet with a client, you've got to meet with anybody, you can book our rooms for that purpose. There are some limitations, but you can check out those on our website. And reference assistance. If you need help finding information, our staff is here to help with that. You can do that by phone, you can do it by email. I'll give you that contact information at the end of our presentation today. We have tax forms. We offer voter registration at all of our branches, passport application services. The State Department is currently not accepting passport application, but is the easiest way in town to get a passport once that resumes. At the library center and the library station is where you can renew or get a passport. And library card holders have free access to a lot of online resources. Some of them have apps and these tools that would otherwise really cost hundreds of dollars to access. So that's what we're going to kind of jump into today, is the ones that are most useful for businesses. So how do you access these tools? You visit thelibrary.org. You click on the research button. You can then browse the alphabetical list of resources available, or you can use the browse by topic list to narrow it down. And then you just click on your resource and log in with your library card number. That's the general process. I'll show you what that looks like. Here is the library.org, our website. Here is the research tab. So I can just click right on that. And then we have our full list of databases, is what we sometimes call them, alphabetically. And then over here are the different topics. So I'll click on business, and you can see our full list of business databases here. So from this list, we're going to talk about 3 of these today, and then I'm going to show you those ebook, audiobook, digital content apps that I mentioned earlier. All right. So first of all, let's start with research. So if you are needing to do research for your business, we have a couple of tools that are really great for that. The first one is called Business Insights Global, and the second is called Reference USA. So you saw those in that list I showed a minute ago. We'll start with Business Insights Global. So this database is going to help you do some kind of broad market research and then some company-specific research too, industry research, that kind of thing. You can, it's global, obviously, based on the name. You can compare data for countries, for many different industries, and also for companies. With companies, you can get history, SWOT reports, investment reports, financial reports. There are industry market share reports and Plunkett reports available here. And then my favorite feature is the kind of comparison. You can plot these comparison charts for industries or companies and choosing which industries and companies you want to compare and which metrics you want to compare. So let's dive into that. Pop my browser back over here. So here's Business Insights Global. You can see across the top are some different ways to research. So I'm going to start just by using the search box. Since I mentioned breweries earlier, that's going to be my sample industry that we're looking at here. So I'm going to type in, you may know a ticker symbol or something like that, or you may not. You can see as I type, it starts to make suggestions for what I'm looking for. And I'm looking for this, Boulevard Brewing Associates. You can see that also there's a drop-down menu here. So I'm researching a company, but I also can use the search box to research countries, industries, or using even a keyword search. So let's go ahead and search Boulevard. Okay, so it gives me Boulevard and some other things that might be related. I'll go ahead and click on Boulevard. And here's what a company record looks like in this database. Some company records have minimal information, some have a lot. It seems like the larger the company, the more information that's going to be available here. But I do get a little bit of information. I get sales information, employees, sales per employee is kind of an interesting number to look at. We can see the founding year, and then we get a list of companies with similar revenue. And then some other information down here, what they do, they produce beer, what type of company they are, some contact information, and some historical revenues from founding through 2010. So this information is a little bit older, and sometimes you find that in this database. We also have some extra information over here, market share reports available. So let's go ahead and click on that. So here are some related market share reports. We've got that Boulevard appears on. So we've got top craft beer makers. We can click on that and see kind of what that looks like. So we can see in 2012, they had 1.3% of the market share, number of barrels they produce. And we get sources, so we know where this information is coming from. And everything we look at here has some kind of either print icon or save icon. So any information you get, you can save in some way. And sometimes you can also share it. I'll go back to our company record here. Okay, and the other thing we see over here is what industry we're in. So we've got our NAICS code. I'll go ahead and click on breweries. And here's their general information about breweries available in this database. So this is 69 companies. Here are the top countries that this industry is in. Here are the top companies, general sales per employee, and some of these industry essays are pretty cool, especially if you were thinking about maybe starting a business in this industry, where you can get a nice overview of different facets of the industry. All right, so let's step back and take a look at this drop down here. So I did a search box search before. I can also do a company finder search here. So if I'm not sure quite what company I'm looking for, I can use some of these search features to narrow it down. So I'm looking for a company in the United States, let's say. And in Missouri. I'm not going to narrow it down to city, I'm just interested in Missouri companies. And then I can either type in the NAICS code or I can type in the name of the industry. And I think what I forgot to do was click update. Try that one more time. So you can see the list narrows as I update the search features here. Okay, so now we are looking at breweries in the US in Missouri. Each of these will link to that company record, just like the one we saw before. So here's the Boulevard one. We can see here's some others. And so you can see how some of these smaller companies don't have quite as much information, but we've got a little bit of information here that might be useful. So that's the company finder. Let's take a look at the rest of this drop-down menu here. So I mentioned some other things you can find here: company histories, SWOT reports, investment reports, financial reports. All of those things will also show up right on that company page if they're available for that company. So you'll see them on a page if you're looking at a company, if those things are available. We also have the industry drop-down menu. So you can see, let's look at all industries here. Loading. Okay, so we've got an alphabetical list of industries. We can also, if you just wanted to browse, but we can also narrow it down right here by putting in our NAICS code or the name of our industry. And this is the same page we saw before. So that's just another way you can kind of research an industry. And then you can see these other options here: market share reports by industry, those industry essays we saw earlier, the Plunkett reports. We haven't seen one of those yet. Let's take a look. So lots of different ones here. And you can also search those, limit those by searching that search box. Okay, so the last feature I want to show you in this particular database is the comparison charts. I'm going to use an industry comparison here. You can also compare companies and countries. So here's the chart. I need to add and remove the things that I want to compare right here. So I'm thinking of opening a brewery, but I'm not sure if that's the industry I want to go into. So I'm going to add that. But the other thing I'm thinking about is a bookstore. I know, completely unrelated, but. Okay, so the metric we're looking at right now is revenue. We can see that right here, and we can see over time what kind of revenue patterns are happening in this industry. So it looks like breweries are doing well and bookstores, well, maybe not great. We also have these other metrics we can compare. So like the number of companies over time, and you can add more than 2. I'm just using this as an example. It's kind of cool. Sales per employee over time. That looks a little different. Employees. So it takes a lot more people to run a brewery, maybe. So that's kind of some industry research you could do with this particular database. There's also case studies here, a glossary, and this is where your saved items will go. So just some basic sort of industry and country research. This is our only database, I believe, that has global market information. So it's great for that if you're looking for that. But I also want to show you Reference USA. Before I move on, are there any questions about Business Insights Global?
I don't see any in the chat.
All right. Feel free to hop in anytime with questions. Let's pop over to Reference USA. So I know SBDC also can do some Reference USA research. Is that right, Crystal? Yeah. Okay. But if you want to dive in on your own, you could do that for free with your library card. This is an amazing resource. It has detailed information on both businesses and consumer information. There is a way to search historical and closed business information if you have need of that. Also, new businesses and new homeowners or new movers are available here. It's got white pages, which can be handy for finding people's contact information. That's not always the easiest thing to get for free these days, but you can find that here in the white pages. And it also has a really robust kind of training program. So I'm going to show you it today, but if you're like, I can think of some great things I can do with this, and you want to learn more about how to use it, you can use the Learning Center and Reference USA to teach yourself how to use it a little better. So let's pop my browser back over here. Here's Reference USA. And again, we get to it from that same page, thelibrary.org. Click on research, and then you can narrow to business databases to find this one. So let's start with a business search. I'm just going to use a general US business search here. Just click on it. It starts out with this quick search, but unless you're looking for a specific business, the best thing to do is just to switch over to this advanced search. And then we have all kinds of options for creating a list of businesses that meet our parameters. So the example I'm going to use today is a pet sitting business. Let's say I want to start, or I'm running a pet sitting business, and I want to find out who else in my area is in this business. Who are my competitors? So we've got, first of all, a record type. You can see there are verified records, unverified records, and closed or out of business records. Verified records are records that have been verified by Reference USA staff by phone. So you may get better data that way. But if you want to really kind of dig through the data, you can include unverified businesses as well. They may be correct. They may have some inaccurate information. They're just not willing to back it up, I guess. So I'm going to include unverified businesses this time. So for my business type, I need to narrow it down right here. I'm going to use an SIC code search this time, if I can type. Start with pet sitting. All right, so I get this list of results, and basically I just need to select my results, and then they'll appear down here in my selected results box to format my search. So let's try, let's see, lots of unrelated pet things here. Pet massage. Maybe I should start that business. Here we go. Sitting services. Pets and animals. That seems about right. All right. Now I want to open my business in Springfield, but I want to be able to serve kind of the region. So I'm going to use a metro area search. So you can see it added that to my search. I'll select my state. And here are the metro areas in Missouri. You can, of course, select multiple ones. And anytime I select something, I can come up here and click Update Count to see how many records. So I'm already down to not that many. That's probably all I need for this particular search. So let's view the results. Okay. So I've got a few things here. Let's take a look at the anatomy of a business record. I'm going to click on All About Animals Pet Sitting. This sounds like it might be my competitor. And you can see what I get here. I get contact information, where they're located. I get the industry profile with their SIC codes, NAICS codes. Are they a franchise? Not in this case. How many employees? Just one here. Sales volume. How long this has been in the database. How big is their facility? It says this is a home-based business. Here is our management directory. So this is a person I could contact. And so you might also be thinking about this in the context of if you are a business-to-business sales situation, you're going to know who you can contact to serve that business. And then expenditures. This is another helpful thing if you are serving businesses. You might want to know who you're dealing with as far as how much they're spending on advertising, how much they're spending on accounting, office equipment, things like that. And there's their sales volume. And then something else that I have heard people say is useful, people who are doing kind of business-to-business sales, is nearby businesses. So I've heard from business owners who use this to, you know, if they are making a call to a client, an in-person call to a client, they might research that client on here and see who is nearby that they could also kind of stop by, introduce themselves, serve them. I've heard some business bankers that do that. Kind of thing. So that's useful information to have. And of course, you can click on any of these and get that same business record where we're going to get contact info, management directory, expenditures, and things like that. So that's a business search. I'm going to go back to the list here. So you can see there are some different things you can do with this list. This is a small list, but I can put it on a heat map so I can see where these businesses are located. Give it just a moment to load. Oh, there it is. So it shows up like this where you're seeing the individual businesses. If I do a quick zoom out, then I see the heat map. It doesn't look very impressive when you only have 8 businesses, but looks pretty good when you have 20 or 30. And you can also add these kinds of things to your map. And there are a few other kinds of options here. Downloading is something that's useful. We'll talk about that when we get into researching consumers, but I can select all of these and download them. And I can also save my search. Reference USA now has an option, the library version here has an option for you to create an account and sign in so that you can save information like that. That was not an option until recently. Okay, so let's step back. That is a business search. I want to demonstrate a consumer search in Reference USA. So you can see here are all the different things I kind of mentioned in the summary. Here's our consumers and lifestyles search. I'll click there. Again, we're getting the quick search. I'm going to move over to the advanced search so I can tailor my search here. Our first thing is to decide if we want all contacts per household or just one per household. So in this case, I'm going to pretend like I am doing this to create a mailing list. So I just want one per household because I don't want to send multiple mailers to a single household. So I've got one per household. And then I'm going to put it again in the Springfield metro area. There we go. And I'm going to add a home income here. So there are two, well, we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's add the home income first. With my pet sitting business, I know that I want people who have a little bit of spending money and travel, and they definitely need to own pets, right? So I'm going to go 100 to say $299 for home value. And then I will move on to lifestyles. Okay, so this is very cool. Like, this is information I feel like you cannot get anywhere else. I'm going to go ahead and I clicked the little plus to expand what is under each of these lifestyle things. So in my pet sitting business, I don't do horses, so I'm going to just leave that blank. And then I have travel here. I can expand and see what that includes. Those all look good, so I will click that. You can see it selects them all. I can update my count. So I have a pretty good amount of people here. 10,919 households that fit these parameters. I'll go ahead and view the results. And here is my list. So I want to show you the anatomy of a consumer record here. It picks, hopefully nobody knows any of these people. Here is our contact information for this particular person. We can see how long they've been in their home. We have marital status. We have estimated household income and home value, a little bit about their neighborhood. And then we have these lifestyle interests, which is how I got them here, because they either travel or have pets or fit my lifestyle needs somehow. So each one of these records is going to have that information. I'm going to step back here. So if I'm making a mailing list, I'm going to need all this information. And so I can select and download each page here. I'm going to just start with one page here. You can see it gives you some several format options and information that you include. So I can download it or I can email it, and then I will have that list available. And then you could do something like a fancy mail merge to send out your mailing. Okay, moving back. I'm just going to run through really quickly just a few other little things here. Wanted to point out new businesses. So you may have a business that serves businesses, and new businesses in particular might have needs that you could serve. So it's nice to be able to narrow it down to that. The same goes for folks new to a home or an area, the new movers and new homeowners. And they'll use the same search features we just saw. You can also search for jobs and internships here. My brother actually found a job in Reference USA, and he's worked there for 2 years now, so it works. Historical businesses, that is kind of interesting. And then the white pages, again, like, you can search the internet for contact information for a person, but oftentimes it's very limited what you can find, and anything more than that they're going to want you to pay for. Just know that you can get that information for free here in these white pages. So you have to be careful with, so you may have noticed that it mentioned that emails were available. That is not something that is free with the library version. You would have to contact Reference USA Info Group to pay for email addresses. And then you do need to be cognizant of no call laws, but phone numbers are here if you have valid reasons to use them. So that's Reference USA in a nutshell. Learning Center right up here that I mentioned, where you can jump in and learn a little bit more. In particular, there is a great course in here that they do every second and fourth Tuesday, Entrepreneurship Research for Starting, Managing, and Growing a Business. Or if you just want a quick intro, there's the Search Essentials as well. Any questions about Reference USA? Or Renee, do you have anything to add that I missed?
There is one question in the chat. Katie, do you know how often the Reference USA database is updated?
Oh, Renee might have a little more insight into that, but I do believe that they are constantly, like that is what they do. They're constantly making those calls. So you can imagine there are millions of records in there. So one particular record may be outdated than another, but that is what they do as a company is continually update those records. For businesses in particular, that's why they have the verified record versus unverified. Renee, do you have anything to add to that?
They do add information weekly as far as how often an individual business record is. They're continually trying to increase how often they do that. I believe it's quarterly right now. I can find out for sure, but they are constantly trying to get that updated as often as possible. And there's a setting for if they can't confirm information after like a year or something, then that business moves to that unverified file. They do have at their learning center a video on their data quality and how they gather their data and how often it is updated. So you can go there for more information.
Great. Any other questions about Reference USA? Okay. So those were a couple tools we wanted to introduce you to regarding research. Now I want to fill you in on some tools we have for training. These are lynda.com, and then services we offer right here in town through the Edge, which is our technology training center. So we'll start with Lynda. Let me get right to my page here, I apologize. So Lynda is training videos. You have unlimited access to those as a library card holder. There are literally thousands of courses here. It's something like $250 a year if you wanted to subscribe as an individual for pretty much literally the same product. So just by using this, you've already saved yourself some money. All these classes are taught by industry experts. Each course has sort of shorter videos put together into a larger video course, but that also means that you can customize playlists to meet your learning goals. So that might be, I'll just give you an example. So I had been in a lot of Zoom meetings these last few months, so I felt pretty comfortable using Zoom as a participant and even leading a meeting, but I knew that I hadn't done a presentation in Zoom before. So there's a Zoom course in there called Learning Zoom. So I jumped into the Zoom course, I skipped all the stuff I already knew and jumped right into the stuff that I needed to know for this video. So it's super handy that you can kind of skip around that way. So let's go ahead and go to Lynda. Let me go over here. So again, we'll go to research. You can find it in business, also education for this one. Here it is right here. There's a video tutorial available here for Lynda, and there's also, just to get really meta, there's a lynda.com course in lynda.com if you want to learn how to use the tool before you start using the tool. So you'll log in, or create a profile if you don't have one. You'll just need your library card number. Log in with that library card number and the password you created each time. So here we are in lynda.com. Let me just, sorry, here it is. So let's start here. Like most of these tools have a search bar. So if I'm looking for something really specific, I need to learn more about a software tool, or I know I'm thinking about marketing, I can type any of that in right here. So something like Photoshop, you can see as I start to type it, it starts to appear, and then I can click on that class to see what is, or that link to see what's related to that. So it's showing me 420 related courses. Some of them might be loosely related, but you'll find a lot of good stuff in that. So that is the super easy way to search. What if you just want to see what is available for a particular topic? You can see right here we've got different sort of learning tracks. So let's say you need to learn more about marketing for your business. I can click on marketing. Is it doing what I say? Yeah. Try that again. Yeah, okay. So it's pulling up a bunch of different classes that are related to marketing. I might want something more specific. Here's something that looks like it might be useful, online marketing foundations. So I can get more specific by using the search box there. Let's take a look at an actual course. So if you're in a business that needs to maybe kind of pivot right now, think about offering services in a different way, there are some great courses in here for that. So I'm going to start with this, just use this one as sort of our example. So this is a class called E-commerce Fundamentals. This is how you click around. So remember I said you didn't have to watch it all in order. You can kind of just click around over here. Can't remember if I'm sharing sound, but I just play it. And it shows the video. We've got a transcript down here. I can click around in the transcript. Video tools, play and pause, typical stuff here. You know, you can skip back, you can go forward to the next video. There's sound settings. You can make it go faster. If you are somebody who is in a hurry and you can listen to people talk really fast, you can make the video go faster. We've got closed captioning. And then also this very cool notebook feature over here. So as I am watching the class, I can use this notebook to take notes, and it's going to tag that note with the place in the video where I took the note so that I could go right back to where I took that note. So this, for example, was in sort of chapter 7. So is the sound sharing, Crystal, or no? No, okay, that's all right. So he's talking about third-party logistics, and I was like, 3PL, okay, I don't know what that is, so I'm going to note that here, and it tells me where it is, so I can jump back to that spot in the course anytime. All right. You can also download some courses for offline viewing. So if that's a concern for you, maybe you're in a rural area where your internet is not great, you want to download it for watching at home, you can do that. Some courses also have these exercise files. So you can download the exercise files. This has some worksheets and things related to the course. There are literally thousands of things here, and I'm sure there is something useful for everyone. There's an app as well. The library version doesn't always play well with the app, but it's been working okay for me. So if you prefer an app, you can give it a try. And that is a basic overview of lynda.com. Any questions about that one?
I don't see any in the chat.
Okay. So the second training tool that you can get for free from the library that I wanted to share with you is our in-house training, which we call the Edge Community Technology Center. So we offer in-person classes at the Edge. It's in the basement of the Midtown Carnegie branch, which is the one over by Central High School, and at other branches as well through what they call mobile Edge classes. So they have a mobile computer lab that they bring to the different branches. Now these are, like I mentioned earlier, temporarily suspended because of COVID-19, so we won't have any in-person classes through the 31st. But I've heard from a lot of folks that you may have some areas that you could use some improvement in Excel, different Microsoft Office products. The Springfield-Greene County Library is also a Google training partner. So if you're using Google Suite products, we have a special expertise on those and offer workshops on that. Chrissy, who coordinates the Edge, mentioned to me that they did business training on Google Suite products for the Springfield Visitors and Convention Bureau. And so it's a service that they can offer, kind of business training. So it's different things like they can offer. You would call them to really have that conversation with Chrissy about what your needs are, and she can kind of help tailor the training you need to those needs. It's also one-on-one technology assistance. So if you have a technology problem that you just need a little help working through, they can do that. They can do that by phone right now, and they're working on some virtual options, Zoom-based training and things like that. So if this is something that sounds like you could take advantage of, contact Chrissy Signer to discuss your training needs. This is her email address right here, or you can call the Midtown branch and they can transfer you to her. So think about what kind of technology training you might need as a business owner or entrepreneur, or what your team might need, and the library may be able to help you with that. Okay, so that's our training. The last few tools I want to run through very quickly are tools for streaming and downloading digital content. So this is fun for both recreation and useful for kind of professional development. If you are reading, listening to audiobooks, that kind of thing, for your own professional development. There are 3 apps that I want to show you today. They are called Hoopla, the Libby app by Overdrive, and RB Digital. So I wasn't able to make Zoom work with my phone. So the version I'm going to be showing you of each of these is the PC version. So it may look a little different on your phone, but definitely while we're chatting here, go and download these 3 apps if you are interested in them. And I will run through some of the kind of ways they look a little bit different on the app. There are kind of 3 things you need to know for each one, which is, how do I find the item I'm looking for? How do I browse if I don't know what I'm looking for? And how do I read, listen, or watch, listen to or watch this item? So I'll just run through those things really quickly, and the pros and cons of each one of these. So, you can go to Amazon, you can get Audible, and you can get Kindle, and you can pay lots of money for those books, or you can get those things for free from the library. The first one that I want to talk about is called Hoopla. With Hoopla, you'll need to create an account with your email address and your library card number. In Hoopla, you can stream or download ebooks, audiobooks, movies, TV episodes, music, and comics for all ages. So several of the tools I'm going to show you today have ebooks and audiobooks. This is the only one really with movies, music, TV episodes. There are comics and other ones. This one lets you borrow 8 items per month per account, which is probably enough if you're borrowing audiobooks and books. It can feel a little stingy if you're borrowing TV episodes or music or something like that. Borrowing lengths vary by item, but generally 1 to 3 weeks. The pros of this one, there are 305,000 titles in this database, and no waiting on any of them. So they're all available all the time. The cons here, monthly borrowing limits, and some of the content is obscure. So once in a while you'll search for a book, and instead you'll get a knockoff Cliff Notes version of the book, which is not great. So you have to watch for that. But it's really great for audiobooks. This is the one I recommend for audiobooks first, because it's great when they're just available. And there are also some good ebooks in here as well. So let's take a quick look at Hoopla. This is what it looks like on a computer. The app is super intuitive, so you shouldn't have any trouble with it when you download it. You can see we can do searching by title or author or anything like that up here. I can narrow that search to a particular format. I can also browse. So if you don't know quite what you came for, you just need a mystery audiobook or something like that, or you can use the browse feature here. So I like to listen to audiobooks in the car. I find that's actually a really great way to listen to kind of professional development or business titles, because I already have that time set aside. I'm already commuting, right? So here's audiobooks. Let's do I don't know why that's not going away. Again, we're already narrowed by format. We can narrow by release date, patron rating, if you want to find things that people really like. So lots of different ways to narrow it down. I can come over here to categories. Looks a little different in the app, but let's say I'm looking for business titles. Just click on that. So I've narrowed it down to business audiobooks, and there are almost 5,000 of them, so that's a good amount. If I want to check one out, I can click on it, read some more about it, make sure I want it, and then click borrow. It's telling me I get it for 21 days. All right. And then over here in what I have currently borrowed are the things that I have checked out, and you can listen to them right in the app. But that is the case for all 3 of these apps. You do all your searching, your downloading, and your listening / reading right in the app. I play it, and then it's going. So very easy to use. So that's Hoopla. The Libby app is the next one. So if you search your app store for Libby by Overdrive, you'll see it there. I'm going to show you the PC version of that. In Libby, you just need a library card to create an account. There's about 20,000 ebook and audiobook titles here, and these are picked and purchased by our library staff, and they are amazing at knowing what our community reads, what people in our community read. So there are some really great titles in here. Like this has a great selection of items. In Libby, you can check out up to 12 titles at once. You can hold up to 20 items at a time. Most of these items are going to check out for 3 weeks. The pros of this one: good selection, popular titles, all the genres you love. It's a very user-friendly app. The cons here: the borrowing works just like a regular library book. So if someone has the item you want checked out, you got to put it on hold and wait your turn. But sometimes that's worth it to save the money, and you can't read that many books all at once anyway, right? So here is what Overdrive looks like. You can see they're advertising their Libby app right here. So I can use the search if I want to search for something specific, or I can use the subjects if I want to browse. Note that we have both ebooks and audiobooks showing here. We can see them because we have the ebook icon. I scroll down a bit. The audiobook icon looks like a headphone. So you may prefer one or the other and want to narrow your search by that. Often when you're browsing, you may just want something right now. You can also narrow it to your search to things that are only available right now. So we'll do a search for business books again here. I'm going to go to the subjects. Here are all the different subjects we can search. In this case, I'll come down here to business. There are 307 business titles in here, and remember, these are hand selected by our really brilliant library staff. And I've got some that say waitlist and some that say available. I want something right now, so I'm going to use these links over here to narrow my search. So I'm going to click available now. Now I'm seeing only things that are available right this minute for me to check out. Here's something I would like to listen to. I can see it's an audiobook, so I'll click on it. I can listen to a sample, so if I'm not sure, I can listen to a sample and see if it's what I want. Here's the description, and we also have some other titles that I might like. And all I have to do is click borrow. I'm already signed in. And that's it. Now I can listen to it. So very easy. And let's go ahead and look at the third option for checking out digital content. So this one is probably our least well-known one. It's called RB Digital. You can check out digital magazines here, and also there is a collection of audiobooks here as well. For this, you'll have to create a username, a password, and you'll give them your email address along with your library card number. The cool thing about this one is all of these magazines you see in here, you download current and also back issues. There's lots of magazines, and they're yours to keep forever. There's no returning them. I should mention that there's no returning anything. It just goes away after your borrowing period, so there's never any fines in any of these apps. But in this case, we don't even have to return our magazines. We get to keep them forever. There's also 6,000 audiobooks here that check out for 3 weeks at a time. Pros of this one, free unlimited magazines, obviously a huge pro. And it's a nice extra source for audiobooks. If you're looking for something specific and you don't find it in those other sources, you might check this. These audiobooks in general, there are a few that this doesn't apply to, are also available all the time. They're not something you would have to put a hold on and wait for. Cons, some of the digital magazines you see in there might be released on a delay, so you might not be seeing this week's issue, but last week's issue. You also will see magazines that we only have back issues for, but the app makes it super easy to differentiate between those. So let me show you really quickly what RB Digital looks like. Here it is right here. I'm already signed in just to make it quick. So here's the audiobooks, here's the magazines. We've got links to the App Store right up here. If I want to look at the magazines in alphabetical order, I can click Explore. I can use my search icon, my little magnifying glass here, to search for a particular title. Right now, I want to see what's available. So I'm going to click Explore, and I get an alphabetical list of these magazines. Now, in this PC version, it doesn't show me what issue, what is the date of the current issue, but on the app it does. So that is something that is superior about the app. Let's say I want to check out this magazine. Oh, I already checked it out yesterday. I forgot about that. But this would say borrow if I hadn't checked it out. And I can go ahead and click read since I've already borrowed it. And it will always stay in my RB Digital app while I want it. So there's lots of great business titles in here too. So if you like to keep up with business magazines, there are definitely some here that will be helpful. They look really great on a bigger screen. If you have a nice larger screen tablet, they look fantastic on there. You can zoom in and out. So that is RB Digital. Same search process for the audiobooks there. I'll close that. Okay, so those are our three sort of digital content apps that you can download on your phone and use for free. Save yourself lots of money if you're already spending money on those things from Kindle or somewhere else. You can use your library and save some money. Okay, so we're here to help. You can use our Ask a Librarian link on our website. It's at thelibrary.org/contact if you want to reach us by email, or you can call any library branch. This is the URL to find out the numbers for the library branches. Any questions about anything or anything you want to dig a little deeper into?
Katie, are there certain branches where they do have, the reference librarians to help with any type of business research, or really they're available at any of those branches?
Right. So that is that any branch can help you with those. So that's kind of our goal as our business library team, is to make sure that our reference staff are well trained on business topics, understanding the needs of businesses and things like that. So you can stop at any branch to ask those questions that you have, or you're welcome to reach out to Renee or I directly with those questions as well. So we're in a training process with our staff right now to train them about topics of interest to business, to make sure that they can answer all those questions that come to them. And they're familiar with all of the other resource organizations in our area to refer folks to.
Any other questions from the audience that you have? You can throw them in the chat. Is there one resource that you see businesses or potential entrepreneurs utilizing the most?
I think Reference USA for sure is our most useful resource for businesses. We would love to have more folks thinking to come to the library or ask the library about what business resources are available in the community. So this is what we offer as a library, but what we also want to be is a connection point, so that when people aren't sure where else to go, that we know you know, we can listen to their needs and refer them to SBDC or refer them to SCORE or the organization in the area that's going to be able to help them best. So that's our other sort of goal here, is just being a resource organization that can refer you to the other resource organizations that can best fit your needs.
I think Linda is probably one of our most popular too.
That's a good point.
To businesses and entrepreneurs, because there's such a wide breadth of both business and technology training, and anybody trying to start business today really needs that technology training.
On your EDGE training program that you guys offer, do you have kind of an ongoing calendar of things like Excel or PowerPoint, things like that?
Yes, definitely. So it looks a little empty right now, obviously, but if you go here to thelibrary.org, here is the EDGE webpage, and then they will have their class schedule listed here. Oh, I forgot to mention the also online training here, which it lists Linda, but there's also some other kinds of online training available that they link here. And they do have a separate kind of little flyer that they put out that you can get at any of the branches, our EDGE flyer. And I believe there is also a targeted email list. So if that's something you're interested in keeping up with, you can sign up for that email list to get that information.
To attend the EDGE training, do you need to have a library card to attend those?
You do not. Library card is not required to attend any classes or programs at the library.
Great. Any other questions? So this really is an amazing resource. We have a comment in the chat that somebody had no idea that all of this was available, and so we agree with that too. There's so many things that the library can do to help, whether you're a business owner or just a citizen, and so we just wanted to make sure that we were able to share some of that. So we really appreciate both you, Katie, and Renee hopping on today and helping make this possible. And we are recording this session, and we will put it up on our webinar library on our website, so that this will be available if you need to go back and remind yourself of any of these resources and how they work. Of course, you can access that and then hop on to the library and start digging into some of these. And I know that Katie mentioned we have access to Reference USA, but really there's nothing like being able to dig into it on your own. And so it's a great resource. We use it a lot, but it's super helpful if you can kind of dig in and use your own, let me try this and play with it a little bit, which you can't do utilizing it through our service. So it's great that people can jump in on their own and try to dig into it. So
yeah.
Any other last thoughts that either of you want to share? And then any other last questions, throw them in the chat real quickly.
I don't think I have anything else, but I hope you all will take advantage of these resources. I was telling Crystal before we started that one of the things we're really good at is if you can come to a reference librarian with what you need, we can get you to those correct resources. So right now in a class like this, we're just kind of throwing it all out there and seeing what sticks, but you may have specific needs, and if you can talk to somebody directly, we can help you figure out which library resources are going to help you, because this is really just the tip of the iceberg of what we offer overall. So do come talk to us or reach out to us, and we'd love to help you get what you need.
All right, thank you all so much. Again, we appreciate you all with the library, and we will continue to let people know of all the resources you have available. And as any of you on the call need any assistance from either the SBDC or the library, don't hesitate to reach out. Tara will follow up with everyone and send you a survey. So please fill that out and send it back to us. We love to have your feedback. And otherwise, have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, Crystal.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Katie.
Mm-hmm.